request. Requesting everyone to settle down. We are about to begin. Please take your seats. I'd like the members of the jury as well. Please settle down. Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Indian Express Group, a very warm welcome to the 4th edition of the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, an initiative of Financial Express. I'm Roshan Pawaya. I'm the editor for Financial Express Digital, and I'll be your host for the evening. Before we get down to the awards, I just wanted to give you a quick anecdote about how important women entrepreneurs can be in our lives. If you all remember the automobile, we probably wouldn't have had it today if it wasn't for one person called Bertha Benz, the wife of Carl Benz. She invested her lifetime savings in his company, which was a steel industry which was floundering at that point of time, and saved it. He worked on the automobile, a motor wagon, kept it in his garage, but didn't really take it out. She took that first road trip in history, a 66-mile journey between 2 German towns, to showcase his automobile and tell the world that a horseless carriage can actually be possible. So she was possibly one of the first women entrepreneurs to really show the world what women entrepreneurship is all about. So that brings us back to the awards, where we will be celebrating excellence and outstanding achievements by India's leading women entrepreneurs, whose innovative approach and clutter-breaking ideas have created positive change in the business and in the social ecosystem in India. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our esteemed members of the jury and the winners. Can we have a round of applause, please? And I'd also like to take a moment to extend our gratitude to our partners, presenting partner IndusInd Bank, co-presenting partners Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation and Gravitas Foundation, associate partners the Government of Uttar Pradesh, Runwal Realty, Veena World, and Gale India Limited, as well as Fable gift hampers coming from ITC Limited for all the winners. So thank you for that. Now, to kickstart the proceedings, may I invite the editor, Financial Express, Mr. Shamal Mazumdar, to come on stage and deliver the opening address. Shamal, please.
Honorable jury members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and a warm welcome to the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, which is now in its 4th edition and is our way of celebrating of women achievers who are doing their bit to break the outdated stereotypes. Chinese leader Mao once famously said, "Women hold up half the sky." So the awards function today is more than just recognition. It is the dedication to supporting women who are leading transformative change by breaking barriers, leading innovation, and impacting communities. Acknowledgement of their efforts is necessary. There is enough research that suggests that diversity and inclusion factors correlate with better financial performance of companies. This correlation does indicate that quality of earnings and performance improves when leadership commits itself to diversity. The award winners should feel proud as they were selected by a jury, each of whom is a lodestar to so many budding entrepreneurs, both men and women. Seeing them in action was a highly educative experience for all of us because the rigor they put in was simply amazing. There is no denying that India is making notable strides in empowering women. Yet, there is a long way to go. It's a fact that 20% of India's MSMEs are owned by women. It's a creditable achievement. But it's also true that the numbers start tapering off as the unit becomes bigger. In fact, at the topmost level, the percentage is just about over 2%. There are other issues as well. Are we still following a tick-in-the-box approach as far as compliance to regulations are concerned? Are we still doing enough to fix the so-called leaky pipe syndrome, where women in the age group of 28 to 35 start going out of the workplace, and most of them never perhaps come back? Overall, women, in comparison to their male counterparts, have to scale more mountains in their professional journeys. These are all issues to ponder about, and we hope to do so over the course of 2 fireside conversations that we'll have this evening. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to all the award winners today for doing some trailblazing work. I am sure they would inspire and give hope to millions of women out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shamalda. I'd request you to just stay back on stage because I'd like now like to invite our esteemed jury members on stage. I'd like to invite Mr. Deepak Parekh, Ms. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, Ms. Mayor Padamji as well. And if Zia Modi ma'am can also come up on stage, it will be great. I mean, we didn't expect her to be joining us today, but she is here. And thank you so much for coming in and making it for this. And I'd also like to call Kumar Sharma, Deputy Editor, Financial Express Digital, also to join them on stage. Now, this esteemed jury panel will be talking about entrepreneurship in the world of tariffs and AI. I think two buzzwords that we've been hearing in the last few days. You've all seen the news about Trump and his reciprocal tariffs. How is that going to impact entrepreneurship in India? We will get some answers from this panel. And of course, AI. All right. I think, Shamalda, over to you, and Kumar, take this discussion forward.
One good thing is that I don't need to introduce any of the gentlemen and the ladies here because they are all institutional builders and they are also a guiding force to so many entrepreneurs out there. And the roundtable discussion will be in two parts. The first part will be very short. We'll ask a little bit about the macro issues, but the major part of the discussion today will be on women at the workplace, and that's the issue we are here for. So we'll spend more time on that. To start with, Mr. Parekh, you. I think, it's a very obvious question. What's your sense of the overall, after what has Trump done, overall India's growth story, and what do you think, what would your prescription be to the government?
President Trump has always created this uncertainty and volatility, and we have to live with this volatility for the next many years. And however, I think India is in a much better space than many other countries because we have a growth rate of 6%, 6 to 7%. And this growth rate is not going to be impacted mainly because 71% of our GDP growth rate comes from domestic consumption, both public and private. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that we are not impacted on the volatility of commodity market because we do not play in the commodity market. Our exports are predominantly service exports, and service exports are less prone to cyclicality. So I think we are in a sweet spot. Uncertainty will remain. It will impact some of the companies that are exporting to the United States. They will have to either reduce their exports, or they'll have to reduce their expenditure, or they'll have to improve their productivity, and they'll have to do a number of things if they want to continue to supply to US companies. So far as the US is concerned, I think only time will tell, because inflation is going to hit them very badly. Job losses will be there. And US corporate, the stock market will slide, as you have seen in the last 2-3 days. Will slide even more because the profitability will start disappearing or reducing. Now the positive for United States is the revenues will go up. The customs revenue will go up. And one of the objectives of President Trump is that manufacturing had sort of almost died in major sectors in the US. That this would revive manufacturing in the US, but I don't think by increasing tariffs and putting tariffs on all the countries, it's going to help them. I think it's not a right move.
Just one more question is about the regulators. You know the regulatory, there is talk about regulatory overreach. There is talk about the barriers that regulators have put in.
India?
In India, I'm talking about. Now, say for example, in India, banks have huge capital requirements, whereas there is a booming private credit market, which is, who is going to fund India's next level of growth? Do you think there is a case for the regulators and the government to take a relook at the barriers that they have put in, which is making life a little bit more difficult for banks in India?
See, if India has to grow, which it has to, then bank credit should be available quickly, immediately, with least amount of strings attached. And today the biggest issue is liquidity. All banks are suffering from lack of liquidity, because for the last 1 year, the retail savings are going towards SIP in mutual funds. Bank deposits are not growing. The new governor, the present governor, has improved the situation by releasing a fair amount of liquidity into the system. So the last 1 month, the banks are breathing. Otherwise, none of the banks had any resources to lend. But the positive part is that I don't see any weakness in the banking system. We have a very strong banking system, good amount of capital adequacy. Non-performing loans have come down significantly, and there is no danger of any small or medium or large size banks having difficulty, which is very positive. Banks' balance sheets have become stronger.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think in this context, actually, just a few days back, I was talking to a CFO in a leading company, and he was mentioning the point that when I have to talk of projecting the cash flows, projecting the growth plans, I don't know, क्या पता markets क्या होगा, dollar का क्या होगा, oil का क्या होगा, nothing is certain. In an uncertain world like this, what is your reading, and to all of you actually, being an entrepreneur in 2025? Our next section, the next conversation is about womanhood in 2025. But this is about women entrepreneurship in 2025 in a world which is so uncertain and unpredictable. What do you see is helping and hindering?
So, Kumar, let me answer that question by saying, as an entrepreneur, you face multiple challenges. So it's nothing new, okay? Yes, there is a lot of uncertainty. I think today, for a woman entrepreneur, the biggest challenge is access to capital. It continues to be that. So you can set up companies, you can start a business, but how do you scale it? I think that is the biggest challenge we are seeing around. That today, I personally believe that we need much more venture capital to take risk, okay? So when you talk about uncertainty, that's risk, right? You have to basically invest in that risk. And if you don't invest in the risk when times are tough like this, you're not going to be able to build a good startup ecosystem. Today, I think your biggest challenge is that you've got great opportunities, whether it's in tech startups, you've got all these very smart AIs, but they're going to remain stunted if you don't really invest in them. So I personally believe that you really, really need to, look at it as an entrepreneur who's always, managing, uncertainty and challenge.
Meher and Zia and Mr. Parekh.
I think
Also, one quick point, I think, which I would want to check with Kiran is that you mentioned this point that today venture capital should be willing to support risk taking. One good example was CRISPR technology, for example. Venture capital did support CRISPR technology, but it's failed. Many startups are burning actually because of this. They're having a problem. So how do we, is there a reason for the money to look differently at innovation?
I don't agree with you, Kumar. I think CRISPR technology-based startups are really, really a big opportunity in the biotech space. And you can't just say it's failed because a few, startup ideas based on novel and new technologies take quite a while to basically start
Is VC the
delivering.
right route then for them?
I mean, I know how long it took for me to really sort of build my business.
Yeah.
So if you want them to succeed in a couple of years, that's not fair. And that's what I mean. I think there's not enough patient capital.
Right, patient capital.
There's risk capital and there's patient capital. You need to be patient about investing in a new sector. I don't find that in India.
Great, yeah. Meher, Zia, and Mr. Parekh.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Kiran. I think an entrepreneurship by itself means risk and means that you will have, look, so many people went through the financial crisis. Some survived, most survived, and some didn't. Many people went through, all of us went through COVID. Again, many survived, some didn't. Any kind of business means that there is risk. And so whether it's woman-driven or man-driven, it doesn't really matter. But I agree again in terms of a few challenges that women face as entrepreneurs. One is venture capital, definitely. Second, I think, is also the whole network, the so-called old boys club, deals happening on a golf course.
Male kinship.
Absolutely. And so I think having that circle of friends is really, or mentors for a woman is really, really important. Social issues. It's really, again, important. Today, when we grew up, we were given messages of being, less aggressive, not so assertive, being caring, sharing. So the whole risk, taking a risk, going out there and making it happen does reduce with time. And with uncertain times, that increases even so, because people don't want to take a risk.
Just a question to both of you, and you said that women needs to share and care, etc. Do you think when a woman asserts herself, she is perceived to be aggressive? This is the social perception I'm talking about. Now, like for example, of course, we have made a long journey from what we were at a time when 20%, as I said in my earlier speech, 20% of women are at the SME level. But as you go up and as you scale, the number is just 2%. What do you think is holding women still back?
Men. I think as women in this audience, just take this example. Look at their happy husbands. They've learned their place. Everybody's happy. The women are strong. But this is not the women we're talking about. We're still talking about the women who have to give their boy child food first before the girl child. And for that to change in our villages, in our tier 3, tier 4 cities, the men have to change. And once the woman starts earning and puts money on the table, she has a voice. Otherwise, she doesn't have a voice in rural India. So I think it's education, and it requires what I've always called male champions of change. You're saying it's 2%. It is 2%. It won't go much higher until men accept that women are as talented as them. Now, I always give this example that when the women directors became compulsory, I heard from a lot of clients that, we can't find women of merit and they're not outstanding, and a lot of them that we look at. I said, why are all the male directors outstanding? They're no great shakes. They're ordinary people. So it's a question of the mental attitude changing, and it will change when everyone recognizes, men and women, that you can't ignore this half of talent. We need talent. Without that, we cannot grow. And if we are holding up half the sky, then it has to change. Will it come quickly? It will not come quickly. But will it come? It has to come.
No, you started off your case after your mother. I've read your mother sent you to study law abroad, whereas your brother was sent for medical studies. Point is that you operated at a time when women lawyers were almost frowned upon, because men's world, totally men's world. How did you succeed? Tell us some anecdotes from your own.
My mother.
Yeah. No, your mother.
She refused to let my brothers take supremacy over me on the dining table. So that's where everything starts, right? How are you perceived? How are you treated? How are you seen as your siblings? And my mother, when she packed me off to England for law school, it was to stop me from getting married or to delay it. But she failed 10 years later. But, my father told her that I can only send one child abroad. So she said, send Zia. And he said, the others will have to study here. Let's study here. Then my brother wanted to be a lawyer, and my father was just dying for him to be a lawyer because the last name would continue. And my mother said, we have a lawyer. He'll become a doctor. So he became a doctor. So when you're asking me how did my life get influenced and changed, I had a compliant father who didn't need headaches, and a very strong mother who genuinely believed that there was no difference between her daughter and her sons.
And she didn't want more lawyers in the house. Mr. Parikh, you mentioned this point about India.
Never be a lawyer, because he thought it was the worst profession that anyone could do.
Any comment, Mukesh ji? Mr. Parikh, you mentioned in the beginning that in an uncertain world, India is a huge opportunity. China did that. Do you think in an ultra nationalist scenario, will we see more India-focused enterprises? What would be your message, therefore, to women entrepreneurs wanting to draw plans in terms of how to proceed further?
See, first of all, if you see the statistics which have been given by the Niti Aayog, only 14% of all entrepreneurs, 14% are women entrepreneurs. And they contribute 17% of GDP. This is the latest Niti Aayog. Globally, the average is 37%. Women contribute 37% of countries' GDP. That's the global average. So we have a task to improve that. And the task is really the Express Group should really go after HR managers, the HR professionals, and encourage them to hire more women and make more women leaders. And in any way you look, and the second point is the big elephant in the room is the gender parity. And again, the Niti Aayog, and there's a World Economic Forum report also on pay parity between men and women. If a man earns 100 rupees, a woman earns 40 rupees. That has to stop. That gap has to reduce. I don't see it reducing even in the Nifty 50 companies, in the financial sector, where you have so many women working. So, you know, we have these issues of gender gap, we have issues of encouraging more women entrepreneurship, and we have a huge task, and with your coverage of your newspaper, Mr. Goenka, you should take this as an objective of how to make more women leaders in India.
Just one question.
See, on the uncertainty, we have thrived on uncertainty. India has always thrived on uncertainty. No country waits so anxiously for the budget as we do. So we always have that uncertainty, and we've lived well and we've progressed well with this uncertainty.
Yes.
So I don't think uncertainty in India is a big issue. We have thrived on it in the past.
Right, right. No, about this, the legal heft given to women presence in the board roles. Do you think that this is, India Inc., I'm not talking about the government here, the law has been said. Do you think India Inc. is following it more as a tick in the box approach?
Indian Inc. is following more as ticking the box. And I think it's wrong to make it mandatory. It should become optional, and you will see. And I see some of the forward-looking companies are not having one, but they're having 2 or 3 women directors. I know it's difficult to get more competent women directors. And you know, competent women directors like Zia doesn't want to join any boards because she earns more by advising companies rather than sitting on boards. So what do we do? The Zias of the world are omitted from our list. And whenever I've asked Meher, she said, oh, I can't travel from Pune. I'm always very busy. And Kiran never comes to Bombay. I don't know how she's come to Bombay today.
So just compliance is not the way to go. I mean, yeah. So you know, you have called yourself almost an accidental entrepreneur. Now, the question is that you have still risen to head one of India's largest pharma firms. How has the journey been? What is, like, in your company, we'd like to know more about what you have done for women leaders. For example, in some departments, you have 30% women leaders. But in other departments, you yourself said it's very difficult to find, even if you want to find the HR department get enough competent leaders. How much of it is reluctance and how much of it is really difficulty to get more, women who are willing, as Mr. Parekh said, people are unwilling to join. What is your experience? And tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Well,
that she saved.
I don't think that's true because already Mr. Trump has said that, wait, we are still working it out.
Yeah.
So we don't know. No, but just to answer your question, I think, it's been a very exciting, long journey. I've taken over 4 decades to build this company. I'm very excited that, I'm building a global company because I think that's extremely important for all companies. I mean, you've got, Mukesh Ambani here who's built a huge, huge global company. I think we need to see more global companies from India. And I think to do that, it is about endurance. It's about, focusing on what it takes to build a global company. Now, I think when you ask me that question about women in the workplace, yes, there are some divisions that are very easy to, get the right competent women. R&D is one of them. I think we've had a bit of a challenge in manufacturing because traditionally, pharma manufacturing hasn't seen women in the workplace. But things are changing. So I'm very optimistic that, we've given ourselves a target that we will have gender parity by 2030, and we're getting there. So I think you do find a lot of very competent women. And women in leadership roles, I don't think there's such a dearth of women in leadership roles. Our chief operating officer is a woman. So things like that. I think if you look hard enough, you find them.
Yeah.
Just one point. I have just one question. The jury members actually, we know every year, spend a lot of time. All of you are so busy. and you spend a lot of time looking through each winner this year, every year actually. You spend a lot of time evaluating, seeing why someone stands out really. This year also, it was the same situation. To these, and they are all stellar and in their own right done incredibly well. What would your, if imagine as being entrepreneurs in 2025, what would be one or two things you would tell them to, okay, pursue or stay true to or desist? Is there any message that you would want to give to these bright entrepreneurs here? Of course, there are some veterans as well, Lifetime Achievement Awards, Malika, others who can always guide others. But what would your impression of the jury members be on this?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a case of self-belief, believing in your company, your idea, your product. I think it's about endurance. I think, and it's about your ability to navigate challenges. I mean, it's not easy to build a company. If you think everything is, smooth sailing, it's not. And I think women do need to understand that it's going to have its ups and downs. And you've got to stay true to your path. And you've got to just endure and build your company. But I want women to think of building scale. I don't want women to think of just building small companies and be content with that. I think women do need to think big. And women do need to scale up their businesses in that way.
I think very important you mentioned scale. Meher, you were mentioning some point about, you've had discussions of compassionate capitalism, ESG and all the other things. Any quick thought about what you would want to, a message to the entrepreneurs sitting here, all bright?
Yeah, I think one is to all entrepreneurs, again, whether men or women, but especially to our women entrepreneurs, I think focus on creating the right culture that you want in an organization and your value system. I think that's really, really important, especially in times that we're going through, tough times. It's really that value system that will be your compass. So I think that's a very important aspect of any business, and that's what will see you through ups and downs. Yeah, and I would say the second, I agree, I think it's grit, determination, perseverance, again, through ups and downs. If you have conviction in what you're doing, just go for it.
Zia, your wonderful one-liners.
I think don't give up, and you won't give up if you're passionate about what you do. It's easy to just say, chuck it. It's harder to take that deep breath, take a few days off, and come back re-energized. And I think that, as women, we ourselves have stereotypes about our role. I would encourage every woman entrepreneur to think about what she just doesn't have to do in life. If I don't have to do something, I won't do it. Finished. It's not my job. Because I'm a woman, I don't have to do many things that I'm otherwise traditionally expected to do. So if you reevaluate your ecosystem, get your ecosystem to support you and love you for what you're doing, not giving up when things are down. Every woman goes through so many downs. You get married, you don't get on with your mother-in-law, which wasn't me. You have your first child, it's traumatic. These are times when, we have 49% of our women leave the workforce. That's what is called India's leaky pipeline. To Deepak's point, 17%. So I would just say that, help yourself. But nothing will happen until you're determined to do it, and you will be determined to do it if you just love what you're doing.
But one of the biggest problem that somebody was telling me is women always tend to be in a sacrificing mode. They suffer from a mommy guilt. They suffer from...
Are all these women in a sacrificing mode?
I think you're talking to the wrong
I
women.
think you're talking to the wrong audience.
No. It's a fact that a lot of women, even successful women, do tell us that they have gone through that huge difficult phase between 28 to 35, 40, where you have to juggle so many balls, it becomes very, very difficult. So what is your advice to those, I mean, the audience is here, but there are a lot of women.
Take help.
Lot of women outside.
Take help. Get an ecosystem going. Don't do everything that you don't need to do, and deal with the ups and downs. That's just life, right? Men go through ups and downs.
Yes.
But today, I find as a lawyer, I am delighted at the amount of clients that come to me and ask me to give advice to their girl child. And the fathers today are far more invested in their daughters than you would have seen 2 generations ago. And the daughters are right up there. They're putting their hand up, same as the boys. It's for the ecosystem to say, we're not differentiating. And then it's talent. It depends on the talent of a particular child compared to another. But the opportunity should be available. And today, in our law firm, for example, 37% of our partners, which is the relevant number, are women. 37%. That's a nice number. Which means they've stayed the course. They've gone through their ups and downs. And they still want to be lawyers.
But it's also because you have a KRA that about women retaining and hiring women, isn't it?
I don't have a KRA.
For your HR managers. For your HR managers,
No.
isn't it? No?
Which talented man would let go a talented woman? Nobody.
Just we'll take a couple of audience questions. Just a question to you, Mayor. You are from a sector, engineering sector, where it must be even more difficult to get a women to work, because we keep on hearing manufacturing is one area where it is very difficult the percentage of women working is relatively much smaller than other areas. How are you tackling this? And how is your top management tackling this problem? And has the percentage improved?
Yeah, so we were at about 6.5%, which is shamefully low for many, many years. But over about 3 years ago, we took a decision that we need to pull that up to 15%. And I'm happy to say that today we are at about 10.5%, but we're still very lean at the top. But I think the beginning is more in terms of how do we reach out to graduate engineer trainees right at the college level. So how do we go to more women colleges? How do we get our women who are alum of that college to go back and talk to other women and say, what is it like to work in a manufacturing company? So we're doing little things which is making a difference. Will that really make a difference in terms of taking those women right up to the top? I'm not so sure. But at least we're trying to spread the net at the entry level. We're also bringing in women at the worker level, at the blue collar level. So we're bringing in now welders, fitters, and what I hear is that they are equally good, if not better, than the men in a much shorter period of time. And so I think we've had a lot of good nuggets of success in what we're doing.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Can we get a couple of questions from the audience? If you can introduce yourself and ask. I think they are all, yeah, the lady there, yeah. Please introduce yourself and be short.
Hi, just wanted to check I'm audible. Yeah, okay. Hi, my name is Tanvi Male. I'm a neuropsychologist, and we're one of the earliest practitioners that focus and specialize on working with older adult as the demographic. It's unfortunately not a demographic that has been focused on in the mental health space in the country, which is very sad considering by 2050 we'll have the largest number of older adults in the world. My question was actually for Kiran ma'am. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity. You spoke a lot about scale, and I've also read your article about how a lot of the support in terms of finances for mental health comes from philanthropy. And I wanted to understand that as an entrepreneur who's focusing on this, what would your advice be? Because it's not a demographic that receives enough attention. How do we scale? How do we work with this demographic? If you had any insights, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Well, I think, mental health is a very different area, really, in the workplace. I think you just need to have a happy environment. You need to have a stable environment. You need to basically make sure that you understand the mental well-being of your employees. And so that's something that HR continues to do with engagement. But to your point, in terms of how do you scale up your initiatives in mental health, I guess, you need to work with organizations. There are, foundations of mental health who are working with organizations to see whether you can actually work with corporates to look at their mental health index in the organizations. Those are the kind of works that are, those are the kind of efforts that are being pursued. McKinsey itself is doing one of those kind of exercises. So I think that's one way of involving yourself with the corporate world. But otherwise, if you really want to focus on mental health, I think philanthropy is the only way.
Is
Just a
there
side
anybody
point,
else?
Kiran.
Just one more question, please. There. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Myself, Sneha Vasarya. We're into renewable energy space. We convert plastic to fuel. Also into animal welfare, wherein we do rescue cases, we feed animals, and we focus on animal rights. Ma'am, one of the panelists spoke about scaling up business. Renewable energy is a very new space, wherein not everybody is into supporting, the MSMEs or who are into, getting into the green space. So can you just share some of your views on it? Thank you.
I think renewable energy is a very important new space. And I think if your technology is really good, I think you should be able to scale it up. I don't know your technology, but I would imagine that it's something that you have to work at. Yeah, it is the future of India.
I totally agree. I mean, it's a huge space, and the government of India is putting in a lot of effort in terms of getting renewable energy up there, whether it's solar, whether it's wind, whatever it is, biomass. And so I think MSMEs have a huge opportunity to be part of the supply chain for many companies that are doing renewable energy today.
I think we are running out of time, so
In
you
fact,
can ask it later, please.
No, it's the same thing.
Okay, finish.
Yeah, the technology is Make in India, and we met Mr. Gadkari personally. He loved the technology. So it's very much in when it comes to plastic to fuel, because it's the need of the hour and the planet needs it. But it's just that when it comes to scaling up, that is somewhere we are not able to get good amount of help. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think time is up. Thank you very much, all of you, for your frank and transparent views.
Thank you, Shamalda. Thank you, Kumar. And thank you to the panelists. That was a very enlightening session. Can we have a huge round of applause, please, for our panel? And please come together for a group photograph. Yeah. Come. Some very salient points there made by our esteemed jury on gender parity by 2030. Let's see how we get there. And of course, on Trump's reciprocal tariffs and how they are going to impact the industry, as well as how it will probably affect profitability of companies, and also how women should be building for scale, as well as the access to capital. So all of these points discussed by the panel. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the esteemed jury of the 2025 Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, brought to you by the Express. Let's have a look at the jury AV and the process they went through for this year's awards.
The jury for Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs. Deepak Parekh, Chairman, HDFC Asset Management Company Limited and former Chairman, HDFC Limited. Preetha Reddy, Executive Vice Chairperson, Apollo Hospitals. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, Executive Chairperson, Biocon. Zia Modi, Co-founder and Managing Partner, AZBN Partners. Meher Padamji, Chairperson, Thermax. Sachin Bansal, Executive Chairman, Navi Group.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to proceed with the first set of the much-awaited awards presentation. And for this, I would like to request Mr. Deepak Parekh back on stage. Joining him, Mr. Anand Goenka from the Indian Express. Please come up on stage. And I'd also like to invite Mr. Neeraj Shah, Head Corporate and Institutional Banking of IndusInd Bank, to also join us on stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the first award of the evening, and that is the Newsmaker of the Year. Can we have the AV, please?
Isha Ambani, as Newsmaker of the Year, reflects her ability to establish a niche for herself in Reliance, which spans several businesses in multiple sectors. In spearheading Reliance Retail, she has made her mark by driving digital transformation and forging global partnerships. What resonates well is that being a young leader, Isha has the pulse of the new generation, an understanding of changing consumer preferences, and has brought high-tech innovation to provide unique shopping experiences. Congratulations, Isha.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Isha Ambani Piramal. May we request her to come up on stage. She's been driving Reliance Retail to new heights, and also the brand Tira, and also bringing a lot of global brands to India now through Reliance Retail. Can we have a few words from you, ma'am, please?
Thank you very much, and thank you to this jury, many of whom have inspired me all my life. Zia, Mami, Deepak, Uncle, thank you so much, and thank you, Anant. I am really lucky to be raised by parents who truly believed that I was no different from my brother, and if at all, I felt like I was the only child in my family. So I had, much like what Zia Mami said, my parents always made me feel, maybe unfairly so, but superior to my brothers. So if there was a choice between an opportunity, it would first come to me, and for that I will forever be grateful. I was equally lucky to be married into a family where there was no uncertainty on who the boss is, Swati auntie, and I've followed in those footsteps, and I've had the most encouraging husband. And triply lucky to be surrounded by a support system of sisters like Shloka over here and Radhika over here, who have built the ecosystem for me, who I can, rely on with my children, with, just having fun, and just knowing that I have my sisters by my side wherever I go. Finally, I'd like to dedicate this to my two girls, Adya and Veda. And I hope that in their lifetime, they don't even have a discussion of girls or boys, and that it is all just truly very equal. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Isha. And I request the... Sure, you can take the mic here. Anand wants to say.
Sorry, I really can't lose the opportunity. Mr. Ambani is here. So I'm going to sort of put him on the spot. Can we get a mic to him, please? Sorry, I hope you don't mind. No, I think the first thing we want to hear from you is just tell us something about Isha, which that she's impressed you with.
Well, Anand, let me first start by congratulating you, and you're the only one who can actually make me speak at a public forum ex tempo. And that's I've known Anand for a long, long time through Dolly. So first, congratulations for really putting women entrepreneurship at the forefront. And I think that it was late, and like the Indian Express, even I am a late bloomer in appreciating women in entrepreneurship. And I have to really give credit for that to Isha and Neeta. They were the two who, in the last decade, have actually opened up my mind. And, I think that we are now celebrating women entrepreneurs as newsmakers. There will be a time where this award they will be history makers, not only for their industries, but for their countries and for civilization as a whole. So I hope that one day you will celebrate them as history makers. To just give you a perspective, and I think that what Deepak Bhai and others said, right? We're involved in industry for a long time. Even industry is moving from hardware to software, right? And intelligence is at the forefront of everything that we do. In the same way, right, women bring with us, and as most women that I admire are winning the award today, and I know most of them, and what they said on the panel is that the world is moving to a more compassionate, a more loving, a more empathy-filled world. And Isha always tells me that it's not survival. So now this is Isha's piece. It's not survival of the fittest. It is really survival of the kindest. And that is the impact she has on me. She grades my meetings, so now I'm giving you all the meat. So when we do meetings together, I have to then look at her and saying, Dad, this is a D. So I said, what happened? So she's perpetually grading me in terms of that. So in a sense, I already have a boss in terms of all the meetings that we do together. And I think that, there are many, many silent initiatives that Isha has, both in Reliance Industries, not only in retail, but as a group as a whole, which she's behind, and we will see results of that in a few years, I hope. And fundamentally, we are fortunate at Reliance that we are giving women leaders, right, the space very much at the forefront. And as a founder, I am very happy that we've done it. Most of our big institutions, our hospital in Mumbai, which we are all very proud of, was built by Neeta and is run by a woman leader. Our foundation is run by a woman leader. NMACC is an all-women team. So in a sense, yes, women entrepreneurship is coming to fore, and all of us will believe in it. So congratulations, Isha, and congratulations to all the other winners. I have always admired Malika. I mean, all your winners is something that I have admired, and I was, when Anand told me that you should come, actually, Mr. Jagannathan, I saw your, all the women who had won, and Kiran's a dear friend for a long time in terms of what we want. Kiran Rao also. Vani, if you talk about startups and all that, for us, she's where we've got the highest returns, and we've also met women entrepreneurs with her. So you've chosen the right jury, you've chosen the right winner. So congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One advice, please. You have to give an advice to you've said lots of things, but give an advice to the entrepreneurs. One line of advice to all the entrepreneurs who are winning or want to win next year.
You win in the mind always, and it doesn't matter who you are, right? The important thing is you win in the mind, and I believe in what Zia said, that you just have to go for it. You will never succeed on the first attempt, but keep at it, you will ultimately win.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Anand. And thank you, Mr. Amani, for those words. Of course, compassion and empathy is something that we see in this room with a lot of the women entrepreneurs here today. I'd like to invite back on stage Mr. Deepak Parekh to give away the next award, along with Ms. Sanya Runwal, if she's in the room, Director Runwal Realty. Please come up on stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next award for the evening is, we were just talking about compassion and empathy. This one is for social impact. Can we have the video, please?
In the field of social impact, Alina Alam. Alina has redefined real impact where it matters and given inclusion and disability rights a new voice. She has been engaging with people with special needs, specially abled youth, giving them an identity by setting up and letting them manage Mitti Cafe's multiple outlets across states. She has given them confidence. She has given them hope. Alina has won accolades from the country's first citizen, the President of India, for the impact she has created. Congratulations, Alina.
A big round of applause, please, for Alina Alam. Please come up on stage. And she has with her some of her colleagues. They all work with the Mitti Cafe across the country. Let's have them on stage. Big round of applause, please. Alina, we'd love to hear from you as well. If you could, we'd love to hear from you, please.
Is there like a hand mic? I'll take it. So the real winners are right there and right here. I'm the most useless person at Mitti Cafe. I go to Mitti Cafe to eat. That's about it. These guys are the real leaders. I just started Mitti when I was in college with the dream of showing the world the magic of abilities. There was this one documentary that changed my life. I meet this guy called Nero. So Nero was an emperor in the ancient Roman Empire, mighty rich. You see, he would win one war after the other, and one day Nero wins the biggest battle of his life. And when you win, what do? You party. So he decided to throw a party, and he invited the who's who of Tinseltown. He invited kings and queens, princes and princesses from across 7 kingdoms. And as evening befell, Nero said, "Boss, we need some lights to make the party happening and rocking." So he decided to burn waste, kachra, to generate light. He decided to burn the prisoners of war and the poor people who he captured, who he considered not more than waste. And the problem that I realized then, sitting in that classroom, was that the problem was not Nero, because you could equate Nero with atrocities, injustice, discrimination, all the not so nice things that you see in this world that will always exist. You know what the problem was? The problem was Nero's guests, as to how thousands of them could sing, dance, and drink when fellow human beings burned and died. And at that point of time, that 22-year-old realized that I was one of Nero's guests. That is, if you feel something about anything, and if you're not willing to take action, then you've taken a side. And unfortunately, that side is that of the oppressor. I started Mitti with 0 startup capital and multiple rejections. 90% of our equipments, right from the spoon, second-hand oven, second-hand fridge, were all donated by people like you all, by the community. Our first employee, she came in crawling for the interview because her family could not afford a wheelchair. Today, that same girl, she sits on her wheelchair and she manages 10 other people with disabilities. She's the manager for our first cafe, and her name is Kirti. As I talk to you, we have so many Kirtis right here, creating awareness about inclusion with every meal or beverage that one serves. So from that small table and that umbrella, which was our first cafe, today we are the largest chain of cafes in the world to be completely managed by adults with disabilities. And thank you so much for all your support. Thank you.
Just to the audience who are not aware, Mitti Cafe, they provide snacks and tea and coffee, and they're there outside airports in a number of cities of India. And recently, last year, the Chief Justice of India, Chandrachud, when he was the Chief Justice, he asked them to open a cafe in the Supreme Court. And they've opened a cafe run by their colleagues at Supreme Court of India. And it's a great honor to be working with you.
Supported by you all.
Supported by with many others also.
But really, really grateful for everything. And thank you, Papa, Mummy, all are at the back, and my in-laws, and my husband, and my 2-year-old, and the one that's coming. Thank you for all your support. And thank you, guys.
Alina, I think you should take your award as well. Thank you so much. And I'd like Sanya to remain back on stage, as well as Mr. Deepak Parekh. We have another award as well. So can you please stay back, and we will continue with the awards. So the next award for the evening, ladies and gentlemen, is for sustainability. We just saw social impact. Now we'll have the award for sustainability.
Congratulations, Kiran, for getting the Sustainability Award. Very well deserved, and no question of the effort, etc., that you've put in it to actually make 5,000 villages drought-free, to be able to mobilize so many volunteers, to really help in such a deeply important and vital task of water conservation. And just knowing who you are, I can imagine the passion and energy that goes with it. So keep it up. We are proud of you and Pani Foundation, and this award is very well deserved.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Kiran Rao, who is not only a filmmaker, but is also now conserving water and has made a huge difference to the state of Maharashtra with her efforts, the Pani Foundation. Could we have a few words from you as well?
Thank you so much, Anand. Thank you to the Express Group. Thank you to the wonderful jury. Really grateful to receive this. Honestly, it's lovely to receive something for the non-profit work we do. I kind of expected that it was, when I first heard about it, that it was for film. But honestly, I think the most important work we do is through Pani Foundation. It's an initiative, actually it's a non-profit company that we started in 2016, Amir and I. And the initially supported by Mukesh, by Deepak Bhai, by everybody who really believed that Maharashtra could be drought-free, and we all needed to work together to achieve that. After we had 4 years of very, very successful water cups in drought prevention and watershed management, we moved on to sustainable agriculture, which is actually our next goal, which is to make agriculture both profitable and ecologically sustainable. We started with a smaller number of talukas, and now this year onwards, we're going to the whole of Maharashtra, and we really want everybody's help to do this. We've had an incredible year, and you'd all be very happy to know that the idea is group farming. It's farming in what we call Gatasheti, which is farming in groups. And of course, apart from reducing input costs and improving productivity, what it's also done is bring a lot of women farmers to the fore. We have more than half, about 60% of the farming groups are women farmers groups. And lots of the final prizes we had earlier this year at the Farmer Cup were won by all women's groups. And these are women, some of them who hadn't left home, who had never actually felt the real ownership of the land that they worked on. They were always seen as labor. And I think this is our great pride and an achievement that we all really, really believe will move the needle when women actually become economically independent, when they are able to take ownership of the work that they do and are given decision-making power. So I'm deeply grateful, and I take this on behalf of all the women that have worked in the Farmer Cup. This is for you and for all your continued efforts, and we look forward to working with all of you to take it across all of Maharashtra. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Sanya, and thank you, Mr. Parikh. For the next set of awards, I'd like to invite on stage Ms. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw to give away the next award. And along with her, I'd also like to invite Ms. Sunila Patil, co-founder and chief product officer at Veena World, to join us on stage. Anant, of course, is here. So the next award for the evening is for Finance and Venture Capital. Can we have the video, please?
Congratulations, Devani, on winning the award for finance and, of course, entrepreneurship that you back for all your youngsters that make it into another stratosphere with your coaching and mentoring. I've known you for decades, never seen you lose the passion, always understood the mindset of the generation and the startups that you back, and understand the space in which they're operating, which is very wide, and so many successes, so many wins, all of which are due not only to the youngsters who work hard, but also to your perception and insight as to how to make them go to the next phase in life. Many congratulations from all of us on the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Vani Kola from Kalari Capital. In the panel discussion, we were talking about access to capital. Here's one such woman who's providing access to capital.
Just give this to you to hold for a minute. You know, I've always been a reluctant award receiver because awards are not about the past, but it's about deeper responsibility for the future. So when you receive one, you're signing up for something, you know. And when I was moving to India, whether it was Zia or Kiran or Renuka, readily opened their time for me to help me think through, can I make any meaningful impact? Can I offer anything in coming back to India and being in the only world I know, which is technology and venture capital? It's been fantastic for me to be here and doing that, which I had always done, but outside the country. And, you know, it's just been heartening to see the growth of the startup ecosystem. But as I was listening to the jury, it took me years to understand the gifts that we receive. I grew up in a family, like Isha said, where my father always, and like Zia said in her home, that my father always encouraged me to be whoever I wanted to be, and I took that for granted. And that's not everybody's reality, not just in India, but anywhere in the world. And my industry has always had very small numbers as far as women go, right? Even today, the number of women who are founders, CEOs, that get funded is less than 2%. So, Kiran, you had said the biggest challenge for women is access to capital. And for that, I think networks play a role, mentorship plays a role. And I've always been very fortunate to have both male champions as well as the female sisterhood that I really value and respect, role models, inspiring mentors, but also who have become truly deep friends, right? Mukesh ji at a critical time supported Kalari Capital unstintingly. And likewise, I think for most women, if you just keep doing it, you'll find that support, be with male champions or otherwise. The two things that I see today for female entrepreneurs is access to capital missing, even financial literacy missing. When I say financial literacy, it's not about knowing how to build your Excel spreadsheet. Most of them are reasonably good at that, considering that they come from technical backgrounds, at least the ones that I get to see. But the problem is I'll hear a male founder with a similar idea level business plan saying, we are going to be doing 100 million in revenue in 3 years, or whatever that might be, a certain brashness to their ambition and vision. Whereas I always find the women entrepreneurs being apologetic about, their ambition. And so there are so many small nuances to what can be done with mentoring to improve, I think, the female entrepreneurship access to capital and their ability to create an impact. But as an optimist, I really think that the number of initiatives, including from Kalari, we have a CXXO program to fund female founders that has been doing extremely well. And many others have such programs. So I look forward to, as Isha said, these awards becoming irrelevant, hopefully in not too late a future. Thank you, though, for putting this together for us.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Vani Kola. Kiran, I request you to stay back on stage. And the next award for the evening is for the category Travel and Hospitality. Can we have the AV, please?
Gauri Devi Dayal is a rare breed in the travel and hospitality space. It is her ingenuity that stands out with a strong domain expertise in finance and law, combined with her entrepreneurial zeal and culinary expertise. She has brought amongst the best fine dining experiences to the city, and yet, in adverse times, pivoted to comfort food, creating the Mac Street brand. To her credit is also the farm-to-table dining, ensuring the supply of fresh and seasonal produce to the restaurants and running a zero-waste kitchen. Congratulations, Gauri.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Gauri Devi Dayal of the Food Matters Group. She calls herself an accidental co-founder, but this award was not accidental, it was deliberate.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to the Indian Express Group and the jury, very esteemed jury. This was a huge thrill to find out about this. I grew up as one of 3 sisters, and so the first sort of people I want to thank are my parents, who I think brought us up as the sons they never had. And the second person I'd like to thank, or rather the third, is my husband who's sitting here, who yanked me out of the corporate world and encouraged me to take this plunge into entrepreneurship. It's been quite the ride. I think two things I want to say, which has been my biggest learning as a woman entrepreneur, is firstly, it is important to have the support of family to encourage you to take these risks and pursue your dreams. But I think more important than that is to firstly believe in yourself and to believe that you're equal and not to feel like you're at any kind of a disadvantage because of your gender. So I think, we need to believe in that ourselves. And the second thing I want to say is that, I always tell women, take full advantage of the fact that you're a woman. Today we have awards that are specially for us. We get a seat at a board table because of our gender. So don't be offended that you're getting it because someone needs to tick a box. Just take full advantage, get that seat, and then show them what you're worth. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you, and congratulations to all the winners.
Congratulations again. And I'd request you to stay back on stage for the last award in this set, and then we will come to a panel discussion. So the next award that we have is called the Icon Award. And no prizes for guessing why it's called the Icon Award. Let's have the video.
Kiran Nadar, Chairperson Kiran Nadar Museum of Art and Trustee Shiv Nadar Foundation, has been a unanimous choice for the jury this year under the Icon Award category. Her untiring efforts have ensured heightened visibility worldwide for modern and contemporary Indian art. Kiran Nadar Museum of Art was established in 2010 and is India's first philanthropic private museum of modern and contemporary art. She is the recipient of several honors and accolades, both national and global. Congratulations, Kiranji, on an incredible journey.
And no less an icon herself, we have Roshni Nadar here, who is the chairperson of HCL Tech, to collect the award on behalf of Kiran Nadar. And if you have the opportunity, do visit the KNMA Museum of Art. It's just beautiful. Can we have some words from you, Roshni?
My mother's not here, and I deeply apologize, and she put a lot of emotional blackmail, so I'm here. She's playing a bridge tournament in Dwarka, in Delhi, so she's checked into the hotel there. And so just a few words, thank you to the Indian Express Group and to the eminent jury for this honor. My mother started playing bridge with her family when she was about 7 or 8 years old. And she was an advertising executive with MCM. And when I came along, she took a break. And she found herself starting to play bridge again in a local club. And she started playing with a bunch of IITians. And they said, you're pretty good, and you should consider playing competitive bridge. And that's how she started playing competitive bridge. And she's going to be 74 this year, but from the age of 30 till last year, there hasn't been a single year that she hasn't represented India at the World Bridge Championships. Last year, she was in Argentina, and she's the captain of the Indian team. She's one of the only women who plays in the open circuit. She's a Commonwealth Games gold medalist and Asian Games bronze medalist. So I think a lot of people know her for art, but her passion and first love and forever love is bridge. So she's there today in Dwarka as opposed to here. And her second love, which is totally the other side of the brain, is of course art. My parents bought their home in 1989. And when they built their home, she started buying art. And again, today her collection is about 18,000 works, but she's completely self-taught and extremely academic and scholarly in her collecting, even though she's known much more for her collecting prowess of the big works. So it's very interesting to grow up with her. She's a polymath, because the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain are ticking simultaneously, where you've got bridge and analytics, and then you've got art and all the crazies that come with it. So it's fascinating to watch her. And thank you so much for this honor. And I'll take it back and I'll tell her she missed a good one.
In fact, we do have a few words from your mother as well, and we can see that up here. Bridging the world between art and bridge.
Hello everyone. I'd like to thank you all for being here, and I'm honored to receive the Express Icon Award, which is being given to me by the Indian Express Group. It is truly an honor to receive an award like this, which recognizes the kind of impetus that has been given to the world of art by my efforts in the world of philanthropy. The philanthropic efforts of KNMA started about 15 years ago, and in these 15 years, we have tried to democratize art and make it visible to audiences from all stratas of society. Our aim is to make art a subject which is going to be available to all people, whether they are owners or have any interest in art history. Just the common man should be allowed to come in and see what Indian art has to offer. I think this is really the aim of the museum, to have art available for all and sundry. I would again like to thank the Indian Express Group for honoring me with this award. I am sorry I'm unable to be there to personally receive it because I'm not in the country, but I'd still like to say that thank you very much. I'd also like to say at this stage that we are in the process of building a standalone museum in Delhi, which is opposite AeroCity. It is going to be about 1,200,000 square feet, so it's a very ambitious venture. We will be opening the museum in approximately 2 years' time, and I would like to make this a personal invitation to all of you to join us and celebrate the opening with us. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again. Yeah. And with that, thank you, Kiran, thank you, Sunil, and Anand, thank you very much for giving this set of awards. We now move on to an engaging conversation featuring 3 generations of entrepreneurs, 3 generations of women entrepreneurs. We have Alina Alam, who you saw a little earlier for social impact with her Mitti Cafe and the work that she's doing with specially abled people and giving them employment around the country. We have Kiran Rao, who is, of course, with the Pani Foundation. She's creating a huge impact in conserving water in the state of Maharashtra. And besides being a filmmaker, she's focused on conserving water in the state. And then we have Anu Aga, who is, of course, a legendary woman entrepreneur herself. She was the chairperson of Thermax and led the company from the mid-80s till the early 2000s and took engineering, I mean, a field that not very many women get into, to new levels. So we have 3 generations of women entrepreneurs engaged in a conversation, and they'll be talking about womanhood in 2025. What does it really mean to them? Please join me in welcoming them to the stage, and they will be in conversation with Anand Goenka, Executive Director of the Indian Express Group. Please come on stage. Thank you so much.
Okay, I don't think it's a more qualified panel to talk about womanhood than these 3 incredibly successful women business leaders. And I don't think there's a more unqualified person to host this conversation than me. So I think, if we can just think about this conversation as Womanhood for Dummies 2025 edition. I think that's literally what I want to get out of this conversation. If I can ask each one of you to tell us, what does womanhood in the year 2025 mean to you? And how is it different from 30 years ago, which is, exactly when the youngest panelist on this panel was born? What the definition of womanhood, how much has that changed today and 30 years ago? So if I can maybe start, Anu, with you.
I think one of the biggest differences, 30 years ago, women decided who they are by what will the others say. That was the main theme, family, society. So they never ventured into things they wanted to do, but what will they say? Today, that's not true. I'm talking about urban women, successful women, not all women. But even those were tied down by this expectation. Today, they're confident, they can do what they want, they dress the way they want, they take jobs what they want, they study different things, like this cafe is such an unusual thing, wonderful. Yeah. So many, many ways it's different.
Fair. Kiran?
Honestly, I think I agree with what Anu said. Today's, the world is very different than, say, 30 years ago when Alina was born. And we're very grateful for all the changes. A lot of what we did 30 years ago, as Anu said, was very much determined by the expectations of us as women, by certain sort of prescribed limits that society had set for your hopes, your dreams, the ceiling that was there on our ambition. There was a decent girl. There was the women who did what they were meant to do, which is get married, settle down, have children. And I think that conditioning continues for many, many, I would say, areas and classes of women, even to this day. That we have come to this place where it is possible to dream, that it's possible to actually get out of these set expectations is our great achievement, I think. In 30 years, we have so many more women in this room, entrepreneurs across the country, women doing so many things. So womanhood for me today looks, like you said, what does it look like? What does it mean? Yeah. It means hope to me today. I think we can all collectively hope that we are going to definitely see more women in every area, walk of life, every sort of position in companies. And I think we are all, as women, also in a position to make that hope come true.
You were born in a post-liberalized India. Everything, the imagination itself kind of changes. Kiran, school in Calcutta, college, undergrad you're in Bombay, and grad school in Delhi. She's And, if you've seen Lapata Ladies, you know that she's thought about women, extensively. How do you think about it?
Anand, I've always believed that the only form of development that exists is inclusive development. And what does that mean? It is when the nation, the society embraces and creates opportunities for every faction of the society, mostly. Those considered to be the most vulnerable. While here we are and we've seen progress in the last 30 years, I'd still say that the numbers are still dismal. There are millions of young girl children, Anand, who'd never be able to go to school because of their gender. So many unreported cases, so many who'd never be able to see daylight because of their gender. We see Unnaos and we see Kathwas happening even today. When a woman goes out in the night at 12 o'clock, she doesn't feel, she feels alien because there are, 10 people looking at her saying, what is she doing now? What is she doing here? While we have women leaders in the political system, we have Anu and we have Kiran, we have so many amazing women leaders here, but we must acknowledge that we are the creamiest layer. We are the creamiest layer. There are, while there are women political leaders, there are also sarpanches who are women, but the decisions are taken by their husbands. So I think we must reflect on that. However, I must say that there is hope. Because of the progress that we see, because the compassion and courage that I believe exists within the community, and advocacy is the key.
Oh, lovely. Actually, it's a great segue to kind of, I thought if we kind of do this in a rapid fire but not so rapid fire kind of way. I was having lunch with my friend Lakshmi today, and I was asking about womanhood, and I was asking her what this conversation can be, trying to educate myself before this panel. And she said very interesting. She said that, look, every time we talk about womanhood and all we always put the corporate in the middle, and there's a limit to really what the corporate can do. Okay, you can do work from home, you can do creche, you can do whatever. These are my words, not hers, the creche and the work from home piece. But, there's a, so I thought if we can kind of play a kind of a game where I ask you guys to think your definition of womanhood. You said the word hope beautifully. I'll list 4 institutions. One is family, other is economy, third is politics, and the fourth is society. Maybe can each one of you share, and I'll start with you, because you touched on this. Let's start with family. Where is family coming in the way of your definition of womanhood 2025, and where is it helping?
So when I started my journey at MITI, I did go to a lot of folks asking for support. And they asked this simple question, and I think a lot of women get asked the same question, that now you're just out of college, all energetic and hunky-dory. What when you get married? And what when you have a child? I had statistics, not so great statistics, that I could read up. And that won't help. Because as we see that, after marriage, a lot of women drop out of the workforce. And after having, the first child, more than 70% drop out. And most of them, then they don't return. So I didn't have an answer to those investors then. I did lose out on a lot of those checks. I have an answer to them now. I'm a mother to a 2-year-old. And as you all can see, there's the second one coming. And Orhan and I, we've traveled to 300 places, like 300 flights, he's taken with me. So I take him everywhere. He'll be jumping around outside. And being a mother has made me so much stronger as an entrepreneur. And this is something that I can personally vouch for. But while I say this, the ecosystem, the family is equally important. And we've had panelists who've said earlier that, they've had folks at their homes who've really backed them. So here I've had my mother, my father. My father has been the greatest supporter. My husband, I remember when I conceived Orhan, I was 8 months pregnant and I had to go to Morocco to give a talk. And the doctor refused to give me a fit to fly. And my husband, he asks me, Alina, do you really want to go? I said, yes, I want to go. He said, you will go. Never did he once say that if you go, it's your decision. Whatever happens, it's your decision. I will not. So it was a collective responsibility. And when we talk about equality, it has to involve all genders, because if one gender suffers because of stereotypes or prejudices, all other genders suffer.
Please.
You know, can I talk about my experience in childhood, which was so different from all of you? I have two brothers, and I was better in studies. But not once was I told that I could join the family business. In fact, in those days, I didn't see women in any business. So I thought this is a thing where only men go. And so I was never encouraged. And the constant message was marry and produce, which is so different, and it was so limiting, you know. Whereas with my daughter, I must say I changed, and she could do what she wanted. She was never taught cooking and sewing. In fact, my son showed an interest, and he was taught for a while. He lost interest. So the stereotype, what a woman should do, thank God is changing almost.
Kiran, you know, I feel like family as a structure, as an institution, especially in India, is trying to keep up with Womanhood 2025, right? And I think your film is showing it so beautifully. But I think there is a structural issue that comes very often, right? You know, the male head of the family.
Yeah, it's called patriarchy. The structural issue. And I think that is, you know, what we heard from a lot of the panelists today, what Anu is saying. I mean, it's sort of a... Did you have some other questions? Sorry, Anand. It's these, you know, sort of rules that have been laid for hundreds, if not thousands of years, of what women should do and can do and should want. And we are breaking those barriers down, and we have to break those barriers down. I completely agree with Alina. There's always, you know, people who won't believe. There'll be people who will put up challenges. But when it comes to family, for instance, Anu herself said that, you know, her family didn't believe that she could be an entrepreneur. I think it begins with how we raise our sons. And it begins with, you know, allowing our daughters not, I mean, I was raised in a family of daughters, so actually I don't know what it would be like to have a brother, in the sense that I'm told that you'd never know how they would raise you until you have a brother. Because then, you know, girls are sort of corseted and boys are told you have to go out and win the world. But I was told I could go out and do what I liked, and I was encouraged to, you know, sort of find my feet, to be economically independent, and I can't thank my family enough for laying that sort of pressure at my door that, look, you've got to look out for yourself. Yeah. And which girl has the privilege of having that decision, you know, to make? How do I get out and look after myself? And I think with boys, it's really, it's as a mother now of a son, I think it's more important than ever that as a family we raise our sons to be aware of what their responsibility is when it comes to women in their organization, women in their class. How do they treat the girls around them? How do they talk about them? You know, even now we've seen there's a lot of talk about adolescence, the show, and about what goes on in schools and what teenage boys are like, and the kinds of sort of icons and models that they might have. And it's more important than ever, I think, for us as families to look to, you know, not just raising our sons, but creating an environment where there is equality in the home, where it's not just your sisters or your mother who lays the table, who clears the food out, who decides what's to be made. Why does the cook never ask the father ki khane mein aaj kya banana hai? You know, it's always the woman who gets asked this question. Why can we not change those rules in our families? And I think, you know, we've, at least among privileged people who have, you know, who are not fighting every day to kind of, you know, put food on the table, we can definitely create that environment beginning at home.
Yeah. The next institution maybe I thought we can talk about is is politics. Where do you think politics is trying to catch up and succeeding, and where is it failing?
We in India always boast of Indira Gandhi and say, we are so enlightened, but she's one person. We've had a few chief ministers, but by and large, it's a male-dominated thing. And this 33% reservation, that also, behind a woman, there's a man dictating to her, very often. So I think we have a long way to go.
Kiran?
Well, I think when it comes to politics, I would say that we need a much younger generation of politicians. I hate to be ageist about this, but I feel that a brand new I would like to say, under 60 even generation of young politicians, I feel are open perhaps to ideas of inclusion. The idea that 33% is even enough is sometimes sad, but we haven't got there in terms of representation at a national level is something that I really hope would change. I think when in politics we're just accustomed to the sort of the sort of elderly male patriarch kind of figure leading whether it's at the state level, at the taluka level, even at a panchayat level. So like they said that the woman might be propped up, but often it's called panchpati. For that to happen, I think a lot more young people, especially young women, need to join politics. That's the only way we would actually see that change.
I just want to make a remark that for you in politics, young means just below 60 perhaps. In most other organizations, you retire by 60. In politicians, it's considered the right time to join, which is a shame.
So, no, but I think if I can just push on this piece a little bit differently when I think about politics, one is the politician and the representation of women. But the other piece I feel very interestingly, and what we're seeing is women voters. They are voting very unpredictably, and we've been seeing this for the last 5 years, right? The woman voter, the woman voter says, I am not going to listen to what the matriarch or the patriarch in my house is telling me how to vote. I will vote how I want to. They don't tell anybody. So one of the reasons I believe all the exit polls are getting it wrong is because the woman voter is A, not speaking to the pollsters, and B, they are not telling them the truth most often. The family used to vote together. The woman getting active in electoral politics they are splitting the family's vote. And I see that mostly, they love strong men to vote for. They're not necessarily voting for other women. They seem to be voting for strong men as a model around the world. So, Kiran, I can push this to you. Do you agree? Do you think that's possible? Why do you think that's happening? Because traditionally in electoral politics, you vote for the same caste, you vote for the same guy who comes from the same community, whatever. When the women voter is happening, that's probably not the case.
That's a very interesting insight. Actually, I didn't have that insight, but I do think that it's a question of over decades and over time, just seeing these icons that have been set up for us that are all men. And it's almost as if we've come to not trust ourselves to be able to lead. It comes from a sense of underconfidence that a woman could do that job as well, if not better. And I think that's not just, that didn't just happen overnight. This has been patriarchy's great success, that they don't have to do anything anymore. They've just set, we've all been set up to believe that a man will save the day. When we know for a fact that women, in every field that they enter, excel, because they work, most people find that they work harder, they're more trustworthy, they're more compassionate and empathetic, they're good co-workers. But somehow in politics, because maybe people see it as a sort of male-dominated and slightly dirty field, it's kind of the idea that it's almost like a battlefield, and women wouldn't perhaps do well there. And it's therefore just a sense of perception which we would only be able to fight if we had more women be encouraged to join, and parties actively enlist women who are dynamic, who actually want to be in politics and not just tick that box, you know.
Sure. Alina?
I'd second everything that Anu ma'am and Kiran mentioned. While we have reservations for women, but whether it's doing its work, we don't know. I mean, there is still fear of women being independent thinkers, women having their own mind, doing what they want to. As a society, we're more comfortable telling them what to do. And this is what we've seen both in urban politics as well as rural politics, unfortunately. While I say this, it is also important that at the policy level also, generally, we're very good at diagnosing that, if it's a woman should do this, a woman should be like that. Oh, and if it's a woman, her problems would be this. But we often forget that the only way development can happen in anyone's life, whether it's a woman from a tribal area, whether it's a woman from an urban area, whether it's a woman with disability, it has to be a participatory approach. They know what they need. They know the solutions. It is about giving them that stage, coming out, being a part of the solutions, and only then can any progress be sustainable. Otherwise, it will falter.
Okay, so I've got a note that we need to wrap because we have a few people going to catch flights. Quick rapid fire, one-word answers. I'll ask two questions. Indira Nooyi famously said to us, actually, the second awards that we had, the professional clock and the biological clock are at complete conflict. Women cannot have it all. Do you agree, yes or no?
To an extent.
Kiran?
Honestly, it's no. I don't.
With the present setup, yes.
Okay, super. And the last question I want to, the one feminist argument that you thought did a disservice, the one feminist or feminist argument that you thought did a disservice to your opinion or to your view of Womanhood 2025?
We are the weaker sex.
Okay, super.
The feminist argument that I disagree with?
That you disagree with, you went too far, that you think went too far, that you think was doing a disservice to the cause?
Oh, we haven't gone far enough.
Okay. Oh, yeah?
Compassionate leadership doesn't exist.
Super. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the lovely panel. Thank you so much. We're going to get on to some more awards. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Anand, and sorry for rushing you because we have a couple of award winners who have flights to catch, and we really had to move on with that. So yes, women entrepreneurship, when we talk about women entrepreneurship, I just want to quickly give you a little anecdote. The movie English Winglish, we had Sridevi's character in that, where she couldn't really speak English, so she goes to an English tutor, and he asks her, what do you do? And she says, oh, I make laddus. So he's like, oh, what's that? So you're an entrepreneur. So that was like, the beginning of women entrepreneurship. And just a couple of days ago, I was at the Startup Mahakumbh in Delhi, and I saw so many such women entrepreneurs making such kind of products and selling them. And with that, let's just move on to the next set of awards. May I request Ms. Mayor Padamji to come up on stage, and along with her, Ms. Anand Goenka again. And of course, I'd also like to invite Ms. Usha Kakre, President Gravitas Foundation, to join us on stage for the next set of awards. The next category we have for the evening is for health and wellness. Can we have the video, please?
Mahima Datla is a woman who has fought her way to the top. And if there are three words that describe her, they are courage, determination, and endurance. I've had the privilege of working with Mahima during the COVID pandemic and have watched her forge key international collaborations which earned her a very strong reputation as a trusted partner. Under her leadership, Biological E has more than doubled its vaccine production capacity and has emerged as one of the leading vaccine producers not only in India but as a globally recognized vaccine producer. And for this, the jury has unanimously selected Mahima Datla as this year's awardee under the health and wellness category.
Ladies and gentlemen,
congratulations, Mahima.
A big round of applause for Mahima Datla. Her company, Biological E, made Corbevax, which was the third largest administered vaccine during the COVID pandemic. Mahima, I know you have a flight to catch. Can you give a quick word? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. The next category we have is, I'd request you to stay back. Yeah. Yeah. The next category we have is for legacy entrepreneurs. Can we have the AV, please?
Congratulations to all the Reddy sisters who have very well deserved the award of Legacy Entrepreneurs of the Year. You continue to make all of us proud. I'm sure your father, Dr. Reddy, is as proud as all of us are. Right from pharma to insurance to technical, digital, finance, clinical engagement, and research and quality. Four of you have really covered the universe of what any large group like Apollo would want to set out to do. All of us know you for who you are, your value system, your ethics, your hard work, and your passion. So our deepest congratulations for getting this award for Legacy Entrepreneurs of the Year. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the Reddy sisters, Preeta, Sunita, Shobana, and Sangeeta of Apollo Hospitals. Shobana is here to collect the award on behalf of all the sisters. A quick word from you. Just a quick one. I know you also have a flight to catch.
We do. So, as everybody knows, my dad really created a new space, a new horizon in healthcare. So it would have been really easy being four girls to sit on our backsides and just enjoy it. But I think that he had other plans. And so did our mother. And I think that many of you who were here, the jurists, really spoke about a mother being the influence that pushes, and I think she did that. She said, you know, you need to value yourself, and for that you need to make a living. And Dad opened up the portal for us in healthcare, and I think that we didn't sit on our backside. So in terms of opening up, Apollo really moved the needle into many, many other aspects of healthcare, but we kept that compassion because we said he's on a mission to serve and to look after 1 billion people and more. And I think that we were able to do it in many spheres, whether it's education, whether it's technology, hospitals, pharmacies, diagnostic centers, and today Apollo being a synonymous word. I think Dad is quite proud that he's got 4 of us, and this actually, I tried to figure out what this meant to be a legacy entrepreneur. I think what it does is doing this over and over as an entrepreneur, it gives you that muscle memory to be able to keep doing more. So it's not about age, it's not about legacy, but it's the ability to have that great passion. And for us, we're so lucky we have a mission like healthcare. So I have deep gratitude for everyone. And to finish off, this is not my award. It's my best friends in the world, my sisters. We speak to each other, and I think we're so collaborative. But we do fight once in a while, but we never go to bed angry with each other because it's so meaningful to have this love and this mission. So, hey, thanks all of you, and I'm sure that there'll be many, many out there.
Thank you and congratulations. I'd request Mayor to stay back on stage along with Usha. Please stay back on stage. Yeah. The next category we have is the Woman Entrepreneur of the Year. Can we have the video?
Falguni Nair founded Nykaa in 2012 with the vision of building a multi-brand, omni-channel, beauty-focused retail business. Within a decade, Falguni has built India's leading beauty and lifestyle-focused consumer technology platforms. Over the last 11 years, following Falguni's vision, Nykaa has expanded its product categories by introducing many online platforms in India. In 2021, she made a stellar debut on the stock exchanges after Nykaa's IPO received an overwhelming response, having been oversubscribed 82 times and raised 53.5 billion Indian rupees. In just under 10 years of its journey, Nykaa has become India's first and only woman-led unicorn to go public. The jury felt her visionary leadership, perseverance and passion, not just focusing on growth, but constantly improving margins, needed to be celebrated. And therefore, we honor Falguni as the Woman Entrepreneur of the Year. Congratulations, Falguni.
And collecting the award on her behalf is Anchit Nair on behalf of his mother. This is the second time she's getting this award at the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, by the way. Yeah. Anchit, we'd like to hear from you as well.
Okay, great. Well, actually, just before I came, I got a call from your team saying I have to say a few words. So I've not had a chance to prepare, but I had heard from Roshni earlier who said that her mother was unable to make it since she was playing a bridge tournament. I think I'll outdo Roshni by saying my mother is right now in Peru climbing Machu Picchu. So that's why she's not able to make it. But, I think the reason I mentioned this is because I think it's very indicative of who she is as a person. She has a tremendous passion for life. And, in fact, all of us were invited to go to Peru, but none of us went because we don't have the hunger for experiences. And I think she is truly one of a kind. And I think this is a fantastic award. And I know that she would have loved to have been here. And I'm sorry to disappoint that she's unable to make it and I'm here in her stead. But once again, it's very kind of the Express Group to give this award to my mother. I think she's taught us a lot in life, how to be passionate about everything you do, not just your work, but even your family, your friends, your travel, your experiences. And so thank you once again, Anand. Thank you to the jury who also gave us this award. And hopefully next time she's here in person. I know she would have loved this event, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Falguni and I are literally going to great heights here at Machu Picchu, and of course with Nykaa. So thank you, Usha, and thank you, Meher. And now for the next set of awards, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Deepak Parekh to come back on. And along with Mr. Deepak Parekh, I'd also like to invite Mr. Neeraj Shah to come back on stage for the next set of awards. Meher, if you could also join us back on stage, it'll be great, because we have just the last 3 awards right now. Kiran ma'am, if you could also join us on stage for the last 3 awards, it'll be great to have everyone of the jury here on stage. The next award category that we have for this evening is in fashion and lifestyle. Can we have the video?
Masaba Gupta has been described as a virtuoso in the fashion world. She embarked on her very exciting journey at a young age of 19 and has developed a very unique and creative brand that spews both oomph and pizzazz. Masaba has developed her own unique design language that defines her unconventional style. Over the years, the House of Masaba has certainly emerged as a signature fashion brand of great distinction. And for this, we the jury have unanimously selected Masaba Gupta as this year's awardee under the fashion and lifestyle category. Congratulations, Masaba. Well deserved.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Masaba Gupta. And I should also ask her, how do you Masaba? For those who don't know, she also runs a podcast which says, How I Masaba. Please come on stage for the award. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Indian Express, and Anand, thank you for pushing me to come. I'm a new mom and a slightly anxious one, so my husband is babysitting my 5-month-old daughter as we speak. But, you know, I've always believed that it's a great time to be a woman, and now I believe that even more. I think that women are not just recognizing their power, they're also owning it, voicing it, and I think that that's incredible. And earlier I was hearing the panel with Kiran and Anant was mentioning how can women have it all. I think women can have it all if they don't feel guilty about it, and I'm trying to be a little bit more of a less guilty person as I keep going forward in life. Thank you so much, this means a lot. It's never easy to come up here and say things that mean something, but it's a very powerful room to be a part of. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you. We just have a couple of more awards to go, and I request the jury to stay back on stage. We have the next category is media and entertainment.
Ekta is a blend of being true to her craft of delivering innovative and creative content while making a mark in the entertainment world through her television shows, while at the same time also displaying an entrepreneurial zeal and running a profitable entity listed on the bourses. Ekta, a Padma awardee, has also spotted new talent, launched and nurtured them, and despite coming from a distinguished family of artists and stars, has carved out her own niche. Congratulations, Ekta.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Ekta Kapoor. We've all watched Balaji Telefilms productions, and also she made the transition to OTT with Alt Balaji, and here she is.
Thank you so much for giving me this award. The esteemed jury is a group of people that I have always looked up to. Thank you, Anant. Thank you, the Express Group. I'd like to say this because it's really true. Young, being a mother myself, the first thing I realized when I became a mother and I started taking the responsibility of another human being was I felt something called guilt. And as Masapa just said, we all can do what we want if we feel a little less guilty, a little more responsible and a little less guilty. And I don't know how we'll manage that balance, but I'm sure we'll manage. We need women at work, but we need less guilty mothers at work also. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ekta. Congratulations once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the last award of the evening, this one is for Lifetime Achievement.
She is more than the tractor queen of India. Mallika Srinivasan is a business leader who has made an impact in Indian agriculture and manufacturing. She launched electric tractors and promoted precision farming, and is now leading the charge in alternate fuels like hydrogen and CNG. A champion of technology who has kept the small and marginal farmer at the center of her mission. Mallika Srinivasan is also known for her philanthropy. She has supported pediatric cancer care and provided free eye treatments for the underprivileged. For her extraordinary contributions in many fields, we are proud to honor Mallika Srinivasan with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mallika Srinivasan, Chairperson and Managing Director of Tractors and Farm Equipment Limited, was a unanimous choice for the Lifetime Achievement Award. As a professional entrepreneur, her journey is unique as it spans both agriculture and industrial manufacturing. And both these sectors are critical for us for the Indian economy. One recognizes that doing business in these critical sectors comes with challenges. But what stands out is a strategic vision, a strong leadership, and deep commitment to the small and marginal farmers that has earned her recognition and accolades in India and globally. Congratulations, Mallika.
May we have Mallika Srinivasan on stage. In fact, one of the first tractor brands I actually sat on was a Massey Ferguson tractor when I was a kid, and I remember that very, very well. No, I didn't buy one. We also have a portrait. It's made by Shyam Kumar Prasad, the Chief Illustrator at Financial Express, for our Lifetime Achievement Award winner. And I'd also like to call on stage Mr. Venu Srinivasan, the Chairman Emeritus of TVS Motor Company, to say a few words about Mallika.
Thank you, members of the jury. Thanks, Anant. It's very, I have to really look for some words. But various speakers today, Zia and some of the other speakers, Kiran Rao, all spoke about Masaba. They all spoke about the guilt. But I think Mallika did multitasking in a way that I have seen very few people do. She ran the household with precision. She brought up the kids. made sure that they did their homework, studied for their exams and topped their classes, and ran her business to great heights. So she's an extraordinary, multifaceted individual. And I must say on behalf of me, Lakshmi, Sudarshan, that we are extremely proud of her and her accomplishments.
We'd also like to hear from Malika as well. Yeah, please come. Please come. Please.
I'll go there.
Good evening. I was a bit nervous when that mic was given to Venu. I was not quite sure what he was going to mention, especially when he took off about the children and the home and everything. But thank you. Thank you. That went off pretty smoothly there. So thank you very much. So good evening, everybody. I am very humbled and privileged to receive this prestigious award from the Express Group and from a jury where each one is a luminary, an iconic achiever in his or her own right. So thank you. To receive it from you all is a special honor. Thank you very much. I was listening to all the speakers earlier today, and actually, as I stood here, my mind went back, flashed back to 1984, when I landed in Philadelphia on a cold, wet, windy morning, stepped out into the streets of Philadelphia, carrying my little Lakshmi in a portly, in a pink, hooded, fur-lined onesie, and as I made my way to the Wharton School. That moment was a very important milestone event. And as I reflect back, I think I owe a lot to three people in my life, and I'd like to thank them today. A lot of you spoke about your mother. And at the end of the evening, I'm left feeling that those mothers were really the critical factors behind all of us succeeding. So first, I'd like to mention my mother, Indra, for her encouragement, her active engagement, and very hands-on support she gave in equipping me with the education that she was convinced would serve well in my entrepreneurial efforts. And today, as I stand here, it is her beatific smile that stands before my eyes. From my father, Sivasalam, and I think Marek might have known him, I inherited more than a business platform. I inherited a cultural legacy and a strong foundation of human values, alongside some very soft-spoken but tough mentorship messages that ensured that my feet stayed on the ground. And I can recall many episodes, and I will share one with you. I went up to him and said, "Dad, is this what you will pay me? I'm from the Wharton School." So he said, "Sit down, young lady. I don't think I need a Wharton graduate to run my business." And that's how I started my career. It was somewhat unusual at the time for a young Indian woman with an infant to step out to pursue her education and then return back to the family business. Extraordinary, some may say, but that was only possible because of a very extraordinary man, Venu. His support, his encouragement, his partnership, and his quiet appreciation have really enriched my life's journey. I would not be here today without him. And Venu, I'd like to say this to you today, thank you for being who you are. We're very happy. We're very happy that our children and Lakshmi and Sudarshan have imbibed the quality of hard work towards a purpose that will make an impactful contribution on the lives of many. I'm proud of my team at TAFE Motors Group, passionate and committed. They are well aligned towards the vision that you saw portrayed for the businesses, with quality, technology, and customer care, and ethical business being at the core of everything we do. With substantial investments in innovative products and technologies, precision farming, automation, electrification, we believe, and I was joking with some of my table members on the side who were saying, you're too young to be in the legacy category. And I said, I think the decade ahead is going to be the best that I have ever seen. And I look forward to that bit that is evolving right now. I've also had a very unique opportunity over the last 4 years or so, and something that shaped my perspective. And for this, a very small contribution, but to me, a great journey in personal development. And this is the role that our Honorable Prime Minister vested in me. He asked me to lead as chairperson the Public Enterprises Selection Board, which chooses, selects, and recommends to him the leadership for all of India's public sector enterprises. And this has been an extraordinary journey of learning and a lifetime opportunity for a private sector entrepreneur. There was so much said about women that I would like to just add 2 points. And I was wanting to share that when the panel discussions were going on, and I'd like to just share 2 things from my own experience. Education is acclaimed as the path to progress, and sure, it is, but it is economic empowerment. Some of you called it economic independence. Economic empowerment in which lies true empowerment, because it gives you, it comes with it the freedom to first think, have your own thoughts, pursue your own dreams, contribute to whatever causes that are close to your heart, and you can touch the lives of those you wish to do for. And I therefore urge every woman, we've come a long way with education, but I'd like to urge every woman to leverage her education, her ability, and her talent to economically empower herself, be it through entrepreneurship, professional career, or otherwise. And to those inspiring women entrepreneurs whom we've had an opportunity to hear about today, and to all of those who are aspiring, I would say we have all the essential ingredients in abundance. We have passion, perseverance, and performance. And I'd like to add 2 more P's to that, which I think are the true differentiators for success, and that would be positivity and people. And these 5 together, your passion, perseverance, performance, positivity, and people constitute the magic formula. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to be here this evening.
Thank you so much for those inspiring words, and I would request the jury to stay back on the stage while you can carry on. Thank you. Congratulations once again, Malika ma'am. May I now request Mr. Anand Goenka, the Executive Director of Indian Express Group, to present a special token to our esteemed jury members. So we have these special frames which are being presented to the jury. These have been made by Shyam Kumar Prasad, the Chief Illustrator at Financial Express, and Suvajit Day, Illustrator at the Indian Express. That's a very nice likeness over there. This is to Kiran Shaw. And the third one to Meher. A big round of applause for our jury, the hard work that they went through to select our winners for this evening. And now I'd like to thank you so much for being here and for doing this for us. A quick photograph, please. In the world of AI and Ghibli images, these are hand-drawn images. These are not Ghibli AI images. Okay. May I now invite Mr. Sandeep Tibrewala, Head Business Banking, IndusInd Bank, to deliver a special address. Can you please come up on stage?
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, honorable jury, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing evening it has been. I think it has been evening which has been packed with a lot of inspiring thoughts, ideas, and doing full justice to the women empowerment theme that has got created. And IndusInd Bank is really proud to be the partner for this particular event because this is a theme which is really very close to IndusInd. There is a lot of work which IndusInd under the Indus V program that we keep doing that for women empowerment. I'll just touch upon some of the works that is being done by IndusInd in terms of women empowerment. So there is a transformative platform, Indus V, that has been created by IndusInd Bank, which is designed exclusively for women entrepreneurs. At IndusInd Bank, we believe in the power of women-led businesses and recognize the immense impact they have in shaping the industries, driving innovation, and inspiring change. Indus V is not just a financial solution. It is a holistic ecosystem which has been built on three key pillars: learn, connect, and grow. It is our commitment to empowering women entrepreneurs by providing them with the right tools, resources, and financial solutions to thrive. At IndusInd Bank alone, we proudly serve a V community of nearly 186,000 women entrepreneurs, and we recognize the need to deepen our relationships with them by offering solutions that go beyond traditional banking. Indus V serves as a one-stop destination, offering tailored financial and non-financial business solutions through strategic partnerships with reputed experts for the various aspects of management, compliance, and business growth. We aim to provide comprehensive support to help women entrepreneurs scale their business. By joining Indus V, women entrepreneurs gain access to a thriving community that supports and uplifts each other. Indus V is more than just a banking solution. It is a movement that empowers women to break barriers and achieve their business aspirations. So together, let's build a future where women entrepreneurs lead with confidence and create a lasting impact by not just competing with men, but giving valuable contribution to the societal and the economic development of the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tibriwala. And I'd also like to congratulate all our winners once again. As we draw to an end, I'd once again like to thank our partners for this evening: presenting partner IndusInd Bank, co-presenting partner Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation and Gravitas Foundation, associate partners Government of Uttar Pradesh, Runwal Realty, Veena World, and Gale India Limited, and ITC for the Febble gift hampers for all the winners. It's been a wonderful evening. Can we have a big round of applause for all our winners? And I'd now like to invite you to cocktails and dinner to carry on the celebrations of this wonderful evening to celebrate women entrepreneurship in India. Thank you so much.